Up, it's a Reddit no sleep from Reddit user Carsicat, CARSIECAT.
Yeah.
It's titled "Journal Found in Murdered Family's Home." I'm a member of a local police, and we were called in by concerned neighbors. They said the family next door, consisting of a mother and two daughters, hadn't been seen in a couple days. During the investigation, a journal was found on a table. The dates inside correlated with the days leading up to their disappearance. The following entries are the ones that seem to have evidence towards a possible at-large suspect. So,
Thanks.
the police are called, they go into the house, no one's there, and they find this journal. So this is December 24th, 2018. It has been 1 year since my husband died in a hunting accident. He had gone out deep into our backyard woods to shoot some deer. That night, police found him with bite marks all over his body, death caused by gun wound and cannibalism. They estimated he had accidentally shot himself, and some wild animal had decided to feast on his remains. Tensions in the house were higher than ever. Combined with the approaching holiday, my oldest daughter, Isabella, had been spending the past year partying her sorrows away. I felt like such a failure of a mother, but I couldn't bring myself to yell at her because she would retaliate with harsh arguments that just made my family fall deeper into separation. My other daughter, 4-year-old Ella, has been the binding glue holding the three of us together. She's the only thing I've seen make Isabella smile since she lost her dad. Ella is too young to fully comprehend that her father won't be returning from the woods, so she is never as harshly affected as Isabella and I. I had the idea of playing the movie Bambi for all of us to watch together, in hopes of lifting the spirit. Isabella agreed after she saw how happy it made Ella. So that was the first journal article. Doesn't seem anything fishy to me.
Yeah. Just normal journal stuff.
So Christmas of this year, Christmas Day. Ever since we watched Bambi, Ella had fallen in love with deers. We were fortunate to live with the back of our house enclosed by woods, so we constantly had deer lurking on our premises. After opening presents, she spent excuse me. After opening presents, she has spent hours at her bedroom window watching the deer run through our yard. She called me over after a while, tripping over her words, radiating excitement about how she made a deer friend. I played into her fantasy, asking questions about the deer she had met through the window. She had, after all the deer had left, a bigger one stayed behind.
Yeah.
Ella continued by saying it stood up on its hind legs and waved at her. I kept laughing along with her fibs, as it's obvious no deer would be able to stand up, let alone wave.
Hello.
Hello. She concluded her story claiming it motioned for her to come outside, and that's when she called me over. It was no longer outside, of course. It's 3 a.m. right now. My girls are fast asleep, but something outside is not. The terrible howling has been keeping me awake. I should mention we live on a one-floor home, so the woods begin bordered to our bedrooms. Mixed in with the moaning is a continuous scratch, which I assume belongs to a stray animal hoping to get inside. I got up, frustrated, trying to locate the source of the noise. As I continue down the hall, I notice it gets louder outside Ella's room. Once I am inside her room, I find her at the window, trying to force it open. When I entered, the scratching and howling stopped, and I hear a rapid retreat of whatever animal was terrorizing my sleep. Ella begins to cry, saying I scared away her new friend. I took her into my room to calm her down, and she fell asleep by my side. So obviously, whatever kind of animal.
Isn't like that Nordic god thing a deer?
Yeah.
Shit.
So this is 2 days later, December 27th. It's 2 days from my last entry. Oh, I should have just read that. I'm excited to write that I heard back from an interview 2 weeks prior. I had my first full-time job. Although my hours take me away from my home for the entirety of the day, once winter break is over, my daughters will be taken care of at school. And until then, Isabella is fully capable of looking over Ella. Isabella and Ella had been bonding over outdoor exploring, with Ella's new-found interest in what lies in our backyard. It distracted Isabella from her own sorrow, so I believe it benefited both of them. Tomorrow I begin my first day of work. I'm beyond excited to start being the mother my kids need. Oh, wholesome. That afternoon they arrived in from their expedition, and I was ready to confront them with news of my job. Before I could, Isabella pulled me through the house until Ella wasn't in earshot. Isabella told me Ella had been talking to herself out of Isabella's sight. So she went to see what she was speaking at. Once she came into view, she saw a horribly mutated monster, a man with features of a deer, returning conversation. When Isabella was noticed, the thing ran, going back onto all fours into the woods. Isabella said Ella told her that the deer was going to take her to see Bambi. She said it had the body of a man with hooves of a deer fused onto where its hands were missing. It had antlers implanted in its head and spots horribly painted on it.
Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas. Surrounded by wounds with dry blood and infections.
Jesus. The story's taking a turn.
Yeah. Its mouth barely had any teeth by this point. Isabella was shaking, struggling to finish the description. The girls were banned from going outside, but Ella wailed and complained about how she had left her Hello Kitty backpack.
Pause.
Yeah.
Question. Did you say that the mom saw that, or that the older...
So the older daughter was out in the woods exploring with the and the young girl, like... I don't
Saw
know,
her little friend.
So this is the older sister
telling the
talking to
mother.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So Ella wailed and complained about how she had left her Hello Kitty backpack deep in the woods when Isabella grabbed her and forced her into her arms as she ran. Another 3 a.m. update. I heard something stomping around outside, being awfully noisy. When I looked out my window to tell off whatever teenager had decided to use our backpack to enter the woods, our backyard, to enter the woods, or scare away any potential animal, I saw a nightmare. A deer was standing a couple meters from our house, dodging through trees as he approached. He was on his fucking hind legs. I ran out to the back porch and turned on the lights, my vision blinded by my cascading tears. I saw the mutated freak notice the lights and retreat into the dark covering of the woods. He was holding a Hello Kitty backpack. I screamed at him various threats of what will happen if he returns until I lost my voice. I know what I saw, and filed a police report soon after. So this is the last entry, December 28th. It's 6 p.m. I have just arrived home. The sun is down. My girls are nowhere to be seen. Police had been investigating the woods before I left for work, but found nothing. Excuse me. I'm going out myself. I'm positive Ella pursued Isabella to help her find her lost backpack. Since Ella is Isabella's one weakness to her own will, I can only hope the creepy wannabe deer was scared off by the police earlier and my own threats last night, and I hope he is long gone by now. And then it's a space, so the next entry. We found 2 bodies on the woods behind the residence. One of the bodies was identified by the neighbors as 18-year-old Isabella. She was found missing chunks of flesh and evidence of suffocation.
Jesus.
Near Isabella, her mom was found. Killing executed identically. So, exactly the same death. The investigation for the youngest daughter, Ella, is still ongoing. Please do not engage with any deer until the suspect is contained. We recommend to keep children inside until the investigation is closed.
Jesus, fuck. Well then.
Well, that's a story?
So it's from Reddit No Sleep, and Reddit, what that means is they're stories that are supposed to make you like lose sleep, like they're creepy.
Right.
Yeah, just scary stories.
But some of them are fiction, some of them are nonfiction.
Yeah, you don't know.
So it's up for
Some of them you obviously know, but it's like...
Yeah.
Right, okay.
like the one we did Wednesday was about clowns,
Yeah.
and it was weird.
Yeah, it was just...
But it ended up being
wanna
like,
know.
well, it ended up being like this guy was married to a girl whose family's all clowns, and they found a painting, and the painting like came alive one night and killed some dude who was trying to break into their house.
Yeah, and then... Yeah, he just saw the clown out of the painting, just
Yeah,
doing some
he put his
sorcery.
hand. Yeah, the clown put his hand up like into this guy's back.
Controlled the human body like a puppet.
Yeah,
Weird.
And then it just ended. And he's like, what's better than a dog protecting your house? A clown. And
Yeah.
the story was over.
So, I mean, if that one's real, which I don't put it past the world nowadays, I really don't. Is it just a guy who's fucking
Some,
glued hooves to his fucking...
well, it's, yeah, some, I don't know. You sound real fucking gross to me. He had like pus spots or infection or something.
Yeah.
So maybe he was making himself a deer. Just some crazy homeless dude that's like, oh, cut off his hands, but probably did that last.
Right.
But fucked himself up and glued deer parts to himself and cut his hands off, put hoofs on there.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
That's what I see.
The world's a fucked up place.
I think I'm gonna become the deer man.
I just like how they started out with the dad getting. Was he found dead?
Yeah.
He shot himself in deer or something.
You
Yeah.
saw that fucking piece
Well,
of
that's
shit.
the part that... Okay, this makes more sense now. They said, found like he shot himself in cannibalism.
Oh.
So it's that deer thing or whatever definitely ate him.
Damn.
You know, some of those.
It's like